What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back talking about the NFL this week, but we have a special guest. AJ, introduce yourself, buddy.
I'm AJ, big Chargers guy, so I'm just, happy with how the season's going.
Yes, Chargers are a surprising team this year, in my opinion, 8-5, and taking on Mr. Cameron's Buccaneers,
this weekend.
That'll be the first game we get into.
Yeah,
So, what are your guys' early thoughts on this one?
I'll let you start.
Okay. All right. My early thoughts are, we got a lot of injuries coming into this game. It's been a rough couple of weeks with the injuries. We had a tough start to the season, and I think this is our toughest game on the second half of the season. So this will be, I think, the kind of final hump that we got to get over. I don't know how it's gonna go, to be completely honest with you. Hopefully we can pull it out.
Pretty sure this is the last above 500 team the Bucs play this year.
Yeah, we've got the Panthers, the Saints, kind of games going on for the rest of the season. So, pretty much a breeze as long as we don't, throw it like we almost did the other week playing the Panthers. But the Panthers have been a little bit better recently.
Oh yeah,
so that one
took the Eagles down to the wire for sure.
It took us down to the wire. So
they took the Chiefs down to the wire. But
yeah.
I think every team has this year. All right, AJ, what are your thoughts going into this? Just gonna smack the Bucs? Is that what you're thinking?
No. See, the thing is, Herbert, man, he's one hit away from having a broken ankle, so I'm not even sure if he'll play. I mean, he's been questionable. I think he missed practice yesterday, so it's like, I think if Herbert goes down, our entire season is just completely over. So,
I will say though, I was looking last night. His stats aren't like insane.
Yeah, we don't throw the ball anymore.
2,700 yards, only 14 touchdowns, but one fucking interception. What the hell?
Yeah, no,
that's insane.
He's careful with the ball. That's why he doesn't.
Careful.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
He really doesn't make too many throws. He just takes a sack if he needs to or throws it away. But I mean, now that J.K. Dobbins is down, our run game's pretty much done. So,
we're gonna have to
go right
you
back
can
to
see
that pass game.
You can see this game's looking a little rough here.
Look at that questionable
5 of the
IR
6 leaders.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, like
lucky.
You said.
We'll be lucky.
So before we started recording, Cameron said that Bucky Irvin didn't practice today. So who knows if he's gonna play? I'm sure Mike Evans is fine. I mean, he literally just came back 2 weeks ago.
He's been iffy the last couple weeks.
But he's played though, so he's
played fine. But the same thing AJ's talking about with Justin Herbert. I mean, he takes one bad hit, he's probably gonna be.
Yeah, you're probably right. He was out for what, 6 weeks with that hamstring. Before that, it was for a while.
5 or 6 weeks, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And so we'll go deep dive now. This game is a 4:20. Actually, let me just emphasize there are no early window games that we are covering today. The early window is actual dog shit this week. The best game in the early window is the Dolphins versus the Texans. So there's not that many good early window games, but. Deep dive into this game specifically now. We are looking at a -3 for the Chargers going into this week. So Vegas likes the Chargers. We got a very pass-heavy Bucs team versus a defense that is shockingly one of the best defenses in the league, giving up less than 16 points per game, which leads the NFL, giving up only 200 passing yards and only 117 rush yards, which I guess is kind of high, but if Bucky Irvin's not playing, that'll definitely come into a factor.
Yeah, I mean it will, but at the same time, we saw Rachaad White step up last week. He had a pretty decent game last week, and with Bucky Irving potentially being out.
Here's the thing though with that, from what I've noticed when I've watched the Bucs this year, is the only reason the way that Rachaad White does well is he's a great receiving back, which he plays off of how good of a running style running back that Bucky Irving is.
Yeah.
So because there's no real threat for Bucky Irving receiving the ball as much, even though he does have 200 yards receiving this year, but because they don't use him as much as a receiving threat, they can get Rachaad White in there when Bucky Irving's not running the football, which definitely helps. But if Bucky Irving's not healthy, that takes away that threat of Rashad White's receiving ability.
Definitely. I mean, we're gonna be looking for Kate Otten and McMillan to step up this weekend. Because I mean, even Sterling Shepard's questionable.
Good point that you bring up Kate Otten. Kate Otten, probably the past 3 to 4 weeks, probably been one of the best tight ends in the league. His stats don't really jump off the paper, but ever since Chris Godwin got hurt, Kate Otten has stepped up tremendously for the Bucs, and that's why the Bucs are still above 500 in my opinion, is because he has stepped up. I don't know if you think the same, Cameron, but I mean, he's definitely one of the main reasons.
He's been great. There's nothing to complain about with Kate Otten. He's got good hands. He's got good route running. I mean, he seems to get open when we need him open. Tight ends seem to do that best, but he's been very reliable with the wide receiver injuries that we've had.
All right, now we will jump into the Chargers offense. I know, Cameron, you got a little college fandom.
Got a little crush on the receiving
for
leader
Mr.
there.
Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey was hurt last week, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's his shoulder. I think he had a shoulder issue after getting hit.
Something like that.
He's just
low key saved me in fantasy because I made the playoffs because pretty much because Ladd McConkey got hurt and Quentin Johnson had to step in for him.
Yeah, Quentin Johnson, he's been the biggest hit or miss player. Like he is the definition of trust, and then he just completely destroyed our trust against the Ravens. He is literally
the definition of hit or miss. 29 catches, 420 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, when he's catching the ball, he's on it. Like he's great, but
he's in the end zone if he's catching the ball.
Yeah,
but if he doesn't but if it's not in the end zone, he's not catching the ball.
Like he just forgets how to catch all of a sudden. I don't know how that happens. But I mean, right now it's after Dobbins went out, I mean, Gus Edwards he's just really slow, man. He is.
I don't even have him on here. So I don't even know if.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what his stats are
this year. I mean, I think now he has like a couple hundred rushing yards, but he really doesn't have anything.
I did look last night, and I think his yards per carry was under 4, which is not.
Yeah, I think he has I'm pretty sure he's 3.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then besides that, we have a rookie, I think, Kamani Vidal. We drafted him late.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, no, he's really unknown. He came from Troy, so nobody really knows that school. But he's he's all right. He's had a couple big plays, but he doesn't really get too much time.
Now I'll jump into the Bucs defense next because I'm not gonna lie, I was very surprised when I saw these numbers. I mean, they're giving up 23.8 points per game, which is kind of high. Yeah. And this part really jumped out to me. Over 250 passing yards per game given up.
Yeah, the pass defense is ridiculously bad. It's unreal. And guys wide open, or I mean, I don't even know how to.
Is Antoine Winfield hurt, or was he hurt? Oh, he is hurt. Okay, so that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, that's not fun for the Bucs. So this will be a very interesting game in my opinion.
It's going to be a very interesting game. I can't even sit here to talk about how it's going to go because there's so many people that we don't know if they're playing. We don't know if they're going to even be playing the whole game if they do play.
Literally the two best crazy good rookies in this game are on a route to not even playing right now.
Yeah.
Between Ladd McConkey and Bucky Irving, and those two have been very crucial parts of the offense. So, I mean, we could give a prediction. I don't really know how accurate these predictions are going to be. This is a very, very toss-up game at this point.
I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game, like 2017. That's I'm thinking it's 20-17. Obviously,
I could see
Bucs.
that.
I think that's.
What about you, AJ? What are you thinking?
See, the thing is, I think that our defense plays well, but we did give up I think 30 points to the Seahawks, or not the Seahawks, the Ravens. I mean, against the Bengals, we gave up a lot of points.
Those are two of the best offenses.
Yeah, but I mean, Bucs have a pretty solid offense. Baker Mayfield, when he's on it, they actually have a pretty good offense. So, I personally think it'll probably be closer to more of a shootout. I think it'll
really.
Yeah, simply because we give up a lot of we can give up passing yards. When it's a bad game on the pass defense, we give up a lot of passing yards. So I think it'll be more of a shootout game. Because especially with Herbert having to pass it now that we don't have a run game.
I could see that.
I think it'll be a lot of. I think it'll be a more high scoring. So I'm gonna say more of like a, maybe like a 35-28 Chargers.
I think it just depends on where the injuries go, because obviously
if
most of these guys,
Vlad's in there,
if most of these guys that are questionable play, I do agree that it's probably going to be a pretty high scoring game. But I mean, if we're looking at a poverty game here with just half the leaders not playing, that's
definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Actually, I don't have it written down. Go to the ESPN bet thing on there. What's the over under? That'll really tell us what Vegas thinks.
It's on here somewhere. There it is. 45.
45.
Yeah, 45.
Now, I will say, most of the time in the NFL, I don't think the over-unders are that high anyways. I think this is pretty... I actually think this is like a pretty average over-under.
This is very average.
Yeah.
I mean...
I don't know.
I think it goes over.
Yeah, if I had to put out... If McConkey plays and Bucky Irvin play, I think this game will be like a 30-24 game. Mm-hmm. But if they both don't play, I'm probably closer to where Cameron is at 21 to 17, 21 to 15 or something like that. I do think the Chargers will win. I do think the Chargers will win though.
I mean, at home we play pretty good. I think we're 4-2 at home, so hopefully,
Yeah.
This time we're not in the prime time spotlight anymore, so
we play good away. 4-2 away.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
This
is such a split game, and it's just so dependent on how these injuries go. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, but both these we're fighting for the playoff spot. Chargers are
real talk.
Can still miss it. I mean, Bucks are still fighting to we helped you guys out with beating the Falcons, so.
Oh yeah, no, the Falcons are on downfall right now. Thank God.
Yeah, so it could be.
Poor Falcons fans. They get hope every year, and then it just gets ruined.
Yeah.
All right.
So the next game we'll get into is the Packers versus the Seahawks. So this game is interesting. This is the Sunday night game. I honestly, again, I don't have no clue how this game's gonna go, because I'm pretty sure there's some injuries too. Is he out? Is it official now? He's okay. So he's questionable. He was out last week, but Zach Charbonnet stepped in last week and turned up. He had 200 yards in total. I'm pretty sure he had 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. He
was the number 1 running back last week. He had a great week. Now, they did play the Cardinals, which their defense isn't as good as the Packers. But this one will be a very interesting game. We got Jordan Love, who's around 2,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks, and then Geno. I think Geno Smith probably has the most random stat line in the league this year. Over 3,400 yards, only 14 touchdowns, and 12 picks. Not to mention, he also has 220 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Geno Smith is probably one of the weirdest quarterbacks this year ever.
It's an interesting stat line.
He's got the Jameis Winston stat line.
It does have the Jameis Winston stat line. Yeah,
that is dude. I feel like Jameis Winston would have more touchdowns. I can't believe that.
Maybe.
I don't know if they just run the ball in the red zone, but why in the world, when you have a team with Jackson Smith and Jigba, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant, and you only have 14 passing touchdowns? I feel like that's pretty crazy.
I know. I'm pretty sure DK Metcalf's been fighting a shoulder injury all year.
Has he?
Yeah, so he's been in and out. Dude, he's been on the downhill this year.
Yeah, but who's been turning up though with those injuries is Jackson Smith and Jigbo.
He's been a fantasy
911 yards, five touchdowns. This guy's been crazy good this year.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Lockett's on his way out, ready to retire.
But he's still one of the most reliable red zone guys.
Yeah.
So when I look at this game, I don't even know really what to look at outside of the corners versus the corners on the Packers versus the wide receivers on the Seahawks. Because the Packers defense has given up 222 passing yards, and the Seahawks obviously are throwing the ball a lot because Geno is probably top 5 or top 3 in passing yards at that with that stat line.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how these guys are going to match up very well.
I mean, I have the Seahawks winning because I think I think when Geno Smith
night game
in the prime time,
at Lumen Field, or whatever the name of the stadium is, that crowd will definitely be rowdy for sure.
Like it's like Seattle's fighting for the to keep the top spot in the NFC West. I mean, the Packers pretty much, in the NFC, I don't think there's too many people fighting for a playoff spot as it is. So it's like I think the Seahawks got it.
Well, they're both fighting for spots in the NFC right now. The NFC is loaded this year.
I mean, the NFC North is just taking over. So
yeah,
outside of the Bears,
Packers are third in the NFC.
And they're 9-4.
9-4. That is
Detroit,
crazy.
Minnesota up there. It's unreal. Yeah, that division is.
That is unreal.
Gross.
The thing. Yeah, this is a very interesting game in my opinion. Especially if Kenneth Walker doesn't play again. I don't know how much they're going to go to Charbonnet. I will say, though, the Packers' defense is pretty solid against the run at 106.9 rush yards. But one thing I haven't brought up yet that we probably should have led off with is Josh Jacobs has over 1,300 yards from scrimmage and 12 touchdowns. And the Seahawks' run game gives up 26 yards rushing per game, which is about league average to below league average. So if the Packers get the run game going, I mean this could be a rough day for the Seahawks.
Yeah. I mean Josh Jacobs, he's pretty much their guy this year. I think with the Packers, it's not really a necessarily like wide receiver one. Like there's not a main guy that just like constantly you go to every single time. It's like Reed is good, but he's not like the best.
Yeah, there's no like standout.
So I think when it
like,
comes,
Smith
there's not like a
Jigba on the
standout receiver.
Seahawks, yeah.
Especially after Jaden Reed, too. After Jaden Reed, I mean, you have Christian Watson, who's actually been playing very well lately, which I will say, his yards per reception is kind of insane. He has less catches than Quentin Johnston at 26, but he almost has 100 yards more at 564 receiving yards. So this dude is a very big play guy. I don't know how that's going to turn out to be, but I feel like Christian Watson's very inconsistent. When he's going, he's a great wide receiver. When he's not going, he's probably one of the worst receivers in the league. And then like you're looking at those two receivers, I guess Tucker Kraft has kind of been coming around lately, so that's been pretty good. I'm pretty sure I think he leads them in touchdowns. If it's not him, then it's Jaden Reed. But the Seattle secondary has been pretty good lately. I feel like with Kobe Bryant's been kind of coming around, so I think this game will come down to the ground game. And honestly, I think the Packers will win. I think the Packers will get it done at like 24 to like, we'll go 17.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys. I think you said earlier that the Seahawks were gonna win.
Yeah, I got Seahawks winning. Even though Packers do got Xavier McKinney back there, and boy,
that is true.
He's been on something.
I think he's like second in the league in interceptions.
No, I'm pretty sure he's first.
Last time we did this, I did mess up. He was second at the time. I said he was first. He was at 6 interceptions at the time, but that was like 2 weeks ago. So I don't know what the update it is. Now.
But
Kirby Joseph was at 7 last time, so they're either tied or
they might be tied then. But either way, it's like Xavier McKinney. He got out of Exile Island in New York, and now he's got a good chance to play on Green Bay. And man, he's been running away with it this year.
He definitely has. All right, Cameron, we've given our predictions. Let's hear yours for this game because this is a very interesting game.
Hyping me up like I'm. But
I feel like you haven't been talking that much on this one. I feel like
you guys are taking it.
Away.
I mean, taking it and running. I mean. Good takes. Not much to add on to what you guys have been saying about the game. To be honest with you, I'm so split between this game because I wanna see the Seahawks beat the Packers. I don't have any hate against the Packers, but the Seahawks, they need a little bit of love, especially at home. Kind of iffy at home in their home games. I don't even remember who they. You know who they played?
That's
at
interesting.
Home?
I did not realize that.
3-4
at home.
Do you know?
That's pretty bad considering how good of a. I know they played the 49ers earlier this year at home on Thursday Night Football. I don't know that much.
Yeah, the
Either
Rams
way.
beat them. The Bills whooped them. The 49ers whooped them. They lost to the Giants somehow earlier this year.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
so
sure it was
they
a
need
blocked
some
kick.
they need some love at home. The Seahawks need some love at home. I want them to win, but I think
Yeah.
the Packers do pull away with this in like a one-score game. Probably. Let's go. Let's give it like a 27-23 kind of look here. I think Packers are gonna take this one.
All right. Now the next game we are gonna hit is my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one is a very, very interesting game. I personally really don't know how this is going to play out, whether or not the pass game will get going in this for the Eagles or the Steelers this go around. Because these two defenses, these are two of the top tier defenses in the league, probably both top 5, I would say, this year. Actually, well, I'm not 100% sure after that Steelers versus Bengals game. That was kind of weird. But the Bengals do have one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah.
So especially when I look at this game, I immediately go to Saquon Barkley versus the Steelers' run defense, because the run defense for the Steelers is either top 5, top 3, or they're I think they're only behind. Oh no, I think they're first. 91.5 rushing yards per game only given up, which that'll be a very big matchup, because if the Eagles can't get the run game going, they're gonna have to rely on Jalen Hurts. And don't get me wrong, love Jalen Hurts, but you never know with him. Sometimes you never know.
Simply, I understand the Steelers have one of the best run defenses in the country. I simply don't see Saquon Barkley not having a game again. After time and time again, I don't see him not having a game here, because he's having a breakout year. He's doing it to every team. He's having great games across the board, and I mean,
it is an MVP season.
It is.
I mean, it literally is an MVP season at this point.
I mean,
whether or not he wins it, we'll talk about that later. Whether or not he wins it, but it's definitely worthy of an MVP. I just don't know if it'll be this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's close enough. I mean, even if he's in the top runnings for it towards the end of the season, he's. I'm not going to say he's going to rush for 300 yards against the Steelers, but I think he's going to do enough.
We're not doing another 300 scrimmage yards game.
That's what I'm saying.
Rams.
Yeah, he's not running for. He's not going to have 300 yards, but I mean, I think he's going to have a great game. It's not like he's going to be suppressed by the Steelers' awesome run defense at all. I really don't think.
Yeah, especially at home in the Link, man. The Link is different especially. I feel like this will be a very, very, very big game.
This is a big game. This is a huge game.
Yeah. Like in-state rivals. I think it's the CBS primetime game. This will be a very great game. Now if it comes down to the pass game, this will be interesting. Who comes out on top here, because George Pickens is trending towards not playing. Their top tier wide receiver, easily the best receiving threat on their team. But man, if he can't go, this will be barbecue chicken for the Eagles secondary, who's been like the best in the league this year.
Barbecue chicken.
Yes.
I mean, all right.
I think
not familiar with the lingo.
People are forgetting they got a familiar Charger on the Steelers pass game. Mike Williams, boy, he's been quiet this season, but he's showed up. He got out of.
I remember he had that one
bad
long,
New York team.
He had the long touchdown against the Commanders, but I don't think he's been doing too much after that.
Yeah.
On the Steelers.
I mean, he got out of another New York exile island, the other New York team. And so, since he's been on Pittsburgh, I think he did have a touchdown against. I think he had like the game-winning touchdown against.
He did.
The Commanders, and then he had a couple catches versus the Browns. But I think he could definitely step up as a pretty good threat. I mean, I don't think he's as good as George Pickens, but I think he's not the worst. Next up,
I will say though, man, if George Pickens isn't playing, I have no clue who the hell is going to get open for the Steelers, because you got to run through Mr. Quinyanamo Bay, and that's straight lockdown, buddy. That is lockdown. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Darius Slay, Reed Blankenship, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Dude, that secondary is unreal. I just don't know who's going to get open if George Pickens isn't there.
Hey, at least you guys don't
mean-
have to worry about him crashing out like at all if he doesn't play.
George Pickens is probably the funniest player in the NFL.
I mean,
I will never. The best clip of him this year was when the Commanders picked off Russell Wilson, and he just
and instead
turned
of going
around
for the
and
block, he turned back and tackled the guy.
he just tackled the dude that didn't even have the ball.
I mean, it is the
George
Eagles.
Pickens crash
A
outs.
lot of his fellow teammates are on that team.
Oh, that is true.
past teammates.
The Philly Bulldogs, man. Georgia between
Who knows?
Jalen
Maybe
Carter,
he
Jordan
would
Davis.
suppress himself. Maybe he'd suppress himself for the game. I don't know.
Well, he wouldn't be going up against most of those guys because most of the
Yeah.
guys aren't even corners. And Keely Ringo doesn't really get playing time on like actual defense, but he's been a stud on the special teams this year. All right, but then we'll go now to the Steelers' defense against the passing game because, like I said, if they do manage to contain Saquon, I will say this: you can't stop Saquon, but if they contain him and do make the Eagles pass more than they have to, this will be interesting because the Steelers' pass defense isn't like the best, but it's pretty solid. 218 pass yards per game given up. They got Joey Porter Jr. They have Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't really know too many of the other corners. Do you guys know any other corners outside of? Because I'm pretty sure Joey Porter has turned into pretty much their cornerback one. I don't really know if there's.
I mean, they did have they had Dante Jackson. I think he was he's been out there a little bit. Besides those three, I don't think they really put too many of them out there.
This will be interesting though, because the past couple weeks, AJ Brown has not been getting the love that he wants in the passing game.
No.
But 48 catches, 836 yards, 4 touchdowns. If he gets going because Saquon's like like not doing as well, this will be interesting to see what the Steelers defense will have to do for that.
It's gonna be on the
they played the
Steelers.
Steelers. AJ
Oh,
Brown.
Yeah, I
AJ
think
Brown
he had
destroyed
3
them
touchdowns.
boys.
Yeah, he had like
Yeah,
3.
he had 3
He hit it. I
touchdowns
remember
on
when he caught it over like what was it, like 2 or 3 people. He grabbed the ball.
He
He
started
said,
pointing at him.
Yeah, he
But-
just changed. I mean, I don't know if you guys think this is corny or you think this is like he's gonna go crazy. He did change his Instagram profile picture to the Joker. I don't know what you guys really think about that, but a lot of Eagles fans think that he's gonna go for like 3 touchdowns this week or like 150 yards.
I think I think AJ Brown personally, if he doesn't have a good game this week, I think he just completely destroyed the Eagles' chemistry. I mean, he's already.
I will say though, there was something that happened last week where AJ Brown kind of slightly dissed Jalen Hurts, but in the presser this week, everyone kind of cleaned that up between Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. They
they
kinda
have
cleaned
to.
it
There's
up.
no other option.
No, not at
That
all.
is true.
They'll say that in the media, but I think if Hurts doesn't hit AJ Brown this game, I think that it's
feel
the
like
same
when
thing
the
happened
Eagles-
last year.
Yeah, I feel like when the Eagles when the media starts talking about a specific thing about them, they like purposely try to do stuff. Like they'll purposely try to get him yards this game just to shut everyone up.
I mean,
Who knows? Maybe it'll happen.
It could happen. It could happen.
It
But, I
should,
mean-
honestly, yeah.
the Eagles
Yeah.
they don't pass the ball as much as they. I think they're like second to last in passing yards this year.
Yeah, Jalen
it's
Hurts is only at 2,600 yards passing this year, but he
But I
does
think
have.
If
But,
it comes down to it, I don't think Hurts is going to get it done if he has.
but he
to
does
strictly
have
pass it.
544 rush yards, so that kind
Yeah,
of
he
makes
can
up
run
for
the
it.
ball.
That's the
I
thing.
think when it comes down to it, if Barkley isn't on, I think that I got the Steelers winning.
Whoa.
Especially they Steelers haven't won since 1965.
You saw that
Philly.
post too.
I did, but Russell Wilson is also I think 6-0 against the Eagles.
Cameron, Mister.
Unlimited. I didn't know if you were.
I
Gonna
literally
say it or if
wrote
I
his
was.
name. I literally wrote his name down as Mister Unlimited.
But I think I don't know. I think I got the Steelers.
That's
I think I got the
interesting.
Steelers this time. I think that they're gonna get.
I'm not.
You
I'm
say
not
that's
trying-
crazy, but I'm gonna have to agree with him if Saquon
Like, no
doesn't
Dallas
get moving.
Goedert.
Well, I guess that's true.
If
Saquon doesn't get moving, but
if
you don't
this-
think that's gonna happen.
I'm saying I don't know. The Steelers. I mean,
Well, you said it earlier.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. You know, I sit here and I say I don't know because the Steelers have a great run defense, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, I think I have to agree with him saying if Saquon doesn't get moving, the Eagles are. I think they're cooked.
Like I'm giving it. It's probably gonna
But-
end up being like I'm saying 17-14 Steelers. Chris Boswell game-winning field goal.
Game-winning field goal. All right, we got the script.
I'm gonna say that because I just I think Hurts is definitely having some problems, especially in the pass game. I've always said it. He always has a problem with he has tunnel vision. Like when he calls a play, he
always tries to run.
He is looking at one person, whoever the main guy is. If he is looking at dead at them, he never. I think he has a terrible time when it comes to trying to create more plays.
I could see that. And then also if it's not there, then he just always takes off running.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that
I
think if it comes down to the pass game, I have the Steelers winning that.
So you had them 17-14?
17-14.
And then Cameron, did you say
I did not
prediction?
give I didn't give a score. I was just saying I agree with if Barkley doesn't get moving, then I think they're going to lose, but I'm going to double down on the fact that I think Saquon's going to, get the yards moving, get some touchdowns in. He's going to be fine against the Steelers' run defense. Oh God, I don't even know, man. Let's go 24-17. 24-17 Eagles.
All right. Now, if I had to make a prediction, we're looking at Vegas likes Philly here. The FPI or is this FPI? That's ESPN Analytics. I think it's FPI Football Power Index. They like them, even though an FPI is a absolutely horrendous analytics thing, especially in college football. But I think I have to agree with Cameron here. I don't think you can. I don't think especially with the offensive line on the Eagles. There's just no way of stopping Saquon ever. He's probably going to get 100 yards again at least. It's gonna happen. And even if they do kind of stop them, I think between Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, I think they figure it out this week in the pass game if they have to. I'm honestly gonna go 30-17 Eagles. I think the offense figures it out. Obviously, I'm biased, but especially if George Pickens doesn't play. I don't know where the offense is going to come from because the Eagles defense will just single in on the run game. We didn't even talk about Najee Harris, but Najee Harris is having a great season. But if they can't throw the football and they have to try to run the ball, the Eagles are one of the best run defenses on top of being one of the best pass defenses. So I don't know. I don't really. Now I could completely eat my words, but I don't think the Steelers will get this done. Right. Especially
I think
in the
Russell
link.
Wilson has something in store. Like I said, at 6-0 versus the Eagles.
He is, Cameron. He is.
Don't do this to me again. he's got it stuffed in his pocket for now. He's gonna pull it out in the game.
He is unlimited, so he could. Yeah. He got everything. He got everything on the plate. All right, now game of the week. I think everyone has this as the game of the week. I don't even think it's a debate. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the Detroit Lions. Probably the best team in the league versus probably the best team in the AFC, I would say. Even though they just lost last week, they lost in an absolute
shootout,
barn burner, 44-41. Or was it 42? I don't know. It was something like that.
I think it was like 44-42.
Something like that. Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns. First time ever a quarterback has had 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. Also, nobody had a turnover last week, which was pretty fucking nuts on top of everything else. There was over 80 points scored and nobody turned the ball over. That was the first time that's ever happened too, or first time in a long time that's happened. Now, this game will get very interesting, and I have a hot take for this game, but I'll bring it up later, if the Bills' defense looks anything like last week, they are absolutely cooked. There
was
is
going to be the
no
first thing.
chance.
It was going to
There
be
is
the absolute
no chance.
First thing
that-
I was gonna say is like if the Bills show up and they give up 44 points again, like it's not happening. Especially
This
you give up
Lions
44
team is one of
points,
them.
Yeah, you give up 44 points to the Rams. You're not. What are you gonna do to the Lions?
Now, don't
Give
get
up
me
60?
wrong.
Like
Don't get me wrong. The Rams, unreal offense. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams. I'm not necessarily saying that was crazy that they gave up 44 to that team. But
No.
man, this is one of the most complete offenses and complete defenses within probably the past 5 years. This Lions team is absolutely nuts. I think if the Bills, now don't get me wrong, the Bills can score with anyone. I just, if you can't, the Detroit Lions will get stops at some point, and if you can't stop the offense, I don't think the Bills have a chance, in my opinion.
If it's anything like last week, no. And that was not a diss on the Rams either. That was just a comparison.
No, I'm not
between
saying
the
it.
Rams.
I'm not saying it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I just
like,
worded
obviously,
it improperly. I just
yeah.
like it was just a comparison between the Rams offense and the Lions offense.
in the Lions offense.
Yeah.
It's like imagine if you took like it's like the Rams pass game is so good, but the Lions their pass game is good, but then their run game is like elite. So it's like now I will say, and this will get interesting because the Bills defense gives up 123 rush yards per game, which is especially compared to the rest of the league is a lot. And the Lions rush for over 150 yards per game, with obviously Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, probably the best. Actually, not even probably. It is definitely the best running back duo in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah, this like I said, I don't really. I just don't really know what else to analyze other than if that Bills defense is that cooked this week, they are screwed.
I mean, the Lions though, they haven't they've been on the ropes the last couple games at home. I mean, they almost lost to the Bears. I mean, that was a pretty close
the Bears
game.
though. I mean, I know the Bears just got dominated by the 49ers, but I feel like the Bears have been coming back a lot lately. Just like
even the
false hope
Packers, that was that came down to a game.
I will say this game is going to be unreal. There are no major injuries in this game.
Yeah.
There are no one's on because I saw you scroll down there. There's nobody like
checking.
questionable, nobody on IR. This will be a very fair matchup when it comes to starters versus starters. There's no backups really going to be in this game. So I will say this.
Look at the over.
Why the hell did this not get flexed to Sunday Night Football? Why? Like, why did this not get flexed? Don't get me wrong, the Packers versus the Seahawks.
The Lions already have a playoff spot. I'm pretty sure they're already guaranteed in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they're still fighting for the number one seed with the Eagles.
That's true.
Fair enough.
They should this game should be the night game in my opinion. I don't know why. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Seahawks versus Packers are gonna be great great night game, but I don't know. This I mean that's kind of whatever. Like who really cares? Apparently I do. but I was just seeing on Twitter this week that a lot of people saying that this should have got flexed, and I don't disagree with them. But we'll talk about the Bills' offense because obviously the defense hasn't looked the greatest lately. But we are looking at an offense with the leader in MVP vote or MVP odds right now being Josh Allen. He has over 3,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns. Biggest stat for him, only 5 picks. That has easily been his best ability this year is maintaining possession, not turning the ball over and trying to play hero ball. And which is even crazier because he has less talent or he has less weapons than he did last year. And he's turned into almost he's obviously not a game manager, but he's kind of playing like it this year where he's just being conservative. He's not overdoing stuff, and it's really helped them this year because I don't think a lot of people had the Bills this high up, being at 10-3. I don't think anybody thought the Bills would have been this good. People obviously thought they were going to be good, but they didn't think we were going to be this good. So I think Josh Allen maintaining those turnovers has definitely helped them. And that's why he's kind of leading the MVP case right now. Also has 9 rushing touchdowns, which just adds to it. But this is the only way I think there's a path for the Bills' victory is if they can just absolutely cook the Lions' defense. And I don't really see... It'll be tough because, I mean, the Lions are about second or third in the league in points per game at 18. They lead the league. They're like second or third in the league in rush yards given up, and then they're like top, their defense is like top 5 in like every statistical category. So if the Bills can't score on offense, it's gonna be a long night. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but like I just don't see a path. I see a path for the Bills. I just don't know if they can do it.
I mean, I got the Lions winning here simply because I think the Lions are going to be. I think this is a Super Bowl preview, to be honest.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I was gonna mention that.
I think this is a Super Bowl preview.
I don't fully disagree with that.
The Chiefs have been.
They're gonna mess up at some point.
Oh yeah, they're gonna screw up.
They're gonna mess up at some point. So whether or not that's in the, but you never know.
Yeah,
they could mess up.
Chiefs is different.
That is true. The playoffs Chiefs are very different. So who knows? Who knows what that's gonna look like? And Josh Allen has never beaten Mahomes. And Josh Allen has never beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. So who knows?
Yeah, I think this is his year.
But he's got to do it at some point. He's got to do it.
I think this is his year to do that. I mean,
all right, but back to the predictions.
Yeah.
You said Lions, AJ.
Yeah, I got Lions. I mean, they should be 13-0. I mean, they had the unlucky game against the Bucks this year.
That is crazy. Baker Mayfield,
a healthy Bucks team.
They were fully healthy
in the red zone.
A healthy Bucks team. Healthy Bucks
they were
team
the best.
Beat anybody.
I was gonna say the Bucks were fully healthy with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, so it definitely is definitely added to that. But
like the weeks that we beat the Eagles and stuff, fully healthy.
You say the Lions. Are we looking at a blowout here? Are we looking at a close game? What are we looking at?
I'm gonna get a little bit in the middle. I don't think it'll be a blowout because actually.
You think they'll just maintain control the whole game?
Yeah, I think the Lions. I think the Bills will keep up, but I think the Lions will ultimately control the game. I think the Bills or the Lions will lead the game the entire game. So I'm gonna say probably, man. I think it'll be someone like last week, like how they played the Packers. I think it'll be like a 34 to. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe like 34-23 Lions, because I think they'll win by a couple possessions. I think the Lions are just, man, their offense is just perfect almost. I mean, if Jared Goff plays, he can literally win a game throwing the ball like 10 times. He can throw the game winning the ball 20 times.
And we talked about this the last time we talked about NFL. We were talking NFL. When we did a touchdown or interception, basically it was just a agree or disagree thing.
Yeah.
We said the Lions were the best team in the league because we witnessed Jared Goff throw 5 fucking interceptions and they still won the game.
Oh yeah, that was the week after. Yeah, he threw 5. Yeah, I remember that.
What are you even like? If you can't beat a team if they threw 5 interceptions, how are you ever gonna beat a team?
Yeah, I guess they don't even have Aiden Hutchinson.
That too.
Like
that dude was leading the league in sacks.
Yeah,
after like 4 weeks, and they got hurt.
The next guy picked it right back up. So I mean, I think that like I said, I mean, if Goff can throw, if they can score 50 points and he only throws the ball 15 times, I mean, I think that they're, they pretty much have it all right now. I guess it's the Lions. It's their game to lose. So,
All right, Cameron. I know you probably will, and you probably just end up agreeing. But we'll do it. Let's get an official score prediction, just so we just have it down.
I was gonna basically go the same route as him. I think the Lions lead most of the game. The Bills kind of keep up. They peel away at the end. I think they win by at least 2 possessions here. We'll go with like 34 to 21. Just go with that. Keep it simple.
I'm pretty much on the same path. Now, I will say it depends on which Bills defense shows up, because overall in the season, we're looking at 20 points per game and only 208 pass yards given up per game, which is definitely really, really good. Definitely did not happen last week, though. But if they show up like last week on defense, I genuinely think this will be a blowout. You know what? I'll say this. I think the Bills will show up on defense a little bit, but I'll pretty much backpack what you guys were gonna go. I'll say 31-20. 20-21 for the Lions. I think the Lions, yeah. So pretty similar over there. All right, so now we will jump into the segments. I couldn't really think of too many segments because I didn't want to repeat what we did the last time. So I only have 2 segments today. They're gonna be relatively quick, unless the second one ends up being a big discussion. But we'll start with the MVP ladder. I have the top 4 odds right now. Pretty much at this point, it honestly is a 2-man race. But we'll talk about everyone because there's one guy specifically that after 1 week, he kind of fell off a cliff for the MVP, being Lamar Jackson. But in order right now, Josh Allen has minus 450 odds. This is what's the thing called? Fantasy duels? Fantasy? What the hell is that called?
FanDuel?
FanDuel. That's what it's FanDuel. Okay. Yeah, these are FanDuel odds. Minus 450 for Josh Allen, which is pretty close to a lock at this point. It's pretty much his to lose. Then Saquon at plus 550, Lamar Jackson at plus 1400, and Jared Goff at plus 1700. There's almost no chance that Jared Goff wins this. I think he probably is only up here at this point because of the Lions being 12-1.
Probably.
Yeah.
But we talked about this last time, Cameron, because we said on touchdown or interception, Lamar Jackson was going to run away with the MVP.
Yeah, he was leading heavily and then fell off within the last
1
couple
week.
weeks. Yeah,
Played the birds. The birds. Just gonna say
last
that.
couple
Played
weeks
the
fell
birds.
off, and Josh Allen's kind of stepped up, and then Saquon's kind of just on the same path that he's been on most of the season here. And like you said, it is Josh Allen's to lose.
It is Josh Allen's to lose.
And
at
I
this
foresee Josh Allen. There's higher chances of Josh Allen having a bad game than there is Saquon having a bad game at this point.
We'll see after this week. Because after this week,
yeah.
If Saquon has a great game this week, he's gonna have a good game every single game for the rest of the week, for the rest of the year. They don't play that many good teams.
Or I think we'll get an answer.
If they do play any good teams, I'm pretty sure they definitely play the Commanders after this week at some point, and he went crazy against the Commanders. So, and I think that might be the best team they play. So I don't know, man. Like I said, this is Josh Allen's to lose. I don't know who you got, AJ.
Yeah,
for MVP.
Personally, for me, MVP has been Lamar Jackson. I think that 1-2 punch between him and Derrick Henry.
Oh, you still think Lamar?
I think he has a chance. Especially with the teams that he has left to play. He's got the Giants, which I think he could easily have just a blowout game right.
He could do the 6 touchdowns that Josh Allen did this past week.
He can easily replicate it. He does have to play the Steelers again. And I think if he beats the Steelers this time, I think that'll be a really good win for him. And then they play, I think, like the Texans and the Browns.
I will say this. The only reason why Lamar is this far down, and it's kind of bullshit, is just because his team is 8-5.
Yeah.
Because his stats are not, I wouldn't say miles ahead of Josh Allen, but they are definitely better than Josh Allen's stats, especially on his passing stats. I'm pretty sure he has only like 3 interceptions on the year. I'm pretty sure he leads the league in passing touchdowns. I think it's bullshit that
it could. I
think it's bullshit that it's always taken into team play.
Like you look at, even Joe Burrow. I think he leads the league in passing touchdowns, leads the league in passing yards. And he's not even.
And then Jamar Chase,
considered.
Not even in talks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then same goes for Jamar Chase too. Jamar Chase is literally on Triple Crown pace right now. And he's not even in discussion for Offensive Player of the Year, just because his team's dog shit.
Because the team is
shouldn't.
bad,
yeah.
Well, not even the team. It should just the defense is dog shit. But we'll go back to the MVP ladder. Honestly, here's the thing: if Saquon breaks the rushing record, and they don't give it to him, no running back or wide receiver will ever win the MVP.
Yeah.
Never
it's always
again.
Been a quarterback. It's mostly always been a quarterback.
Lately, it's been a quarterback. I guess probably in the past, majority of the time, it's been quarterbacks. But like in the past, you definitely had chances. There was definitely chances. If Saquon breaks the rushing record, which has held for so long, it's literally Eric Dickerson's record. man, if he breaks it and doesn't get it, then just call it the most valuable quarterback award.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like,
I mean, people always discredit Saquon because he has I think they have an extra game. Back when Eric Dickerson was playing, he had it with.
But
here's
the thing. Here's the thing about that. Obviously, people think I'm biased. I'm literally the biggest Saquon Barkley fan in the world. But I honestly would think about that. I deadass if Derrick Henry is having the same type of season, which he kind of is.
I mean, he's not far off.
Well, Derrick Henry just had his bye week, and Saquon's now up over 200 yards ahead of him.
Yeah.
So
But, knowing Derrick Henry, he can have a couple hundred yards in
he
a
can.
I mean, you look at Buffalo, boy,
But you look at Saquon Barkley, he can have a 300 scrimmage yard game.
Yeah,
but no, I would say this for any running back. Honestly, any running back, any receiver, like Cooper Kupp had that triple crown year a couple years back. Wasn't even in contention for the MVP.
Yeah.
They literally had to create an Offensive Player of the Year award because the MVP is such a quarterback style award.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's crazy.
We'll get some answers after this week for sure.
That is true.
This
will be a big. If Josh Allen has a stinker this week against the Lions, and Saquon has a great game against the Steelers, that's good team versus good team, and good team versus good team being the games that we talked about. Mm-hmm. Also, good defense versus good offenses on both sides.
Yeah.
If Saquon goes for like 150 or something like that and a touchdown, and Josh Allen goes for like not good, these odds can switch very, very quickly.
I mean, I think
obviously we saw that with Lamar.
I think Lamar. There's a way
this
that he
guy's
sneaks
still on
back
Lamar.
in.
That's interesting.
I think there's a way he sneaks in because
he could. I'm not saying he's out of it.
Josh Allen and
the only
Saquon
guy
play tough teams.
The only guy that I have written down there's just no chance unless
Goff.
Literally
Just
it's
not.
Goff. Like I said, Goff is probably only on this. Don't get me wrong, Jared Goff definitely a top 10 quarterback. But he's on the best.
It's a
team
3-man
in the league.
race at this point.
Yeah,
So.
He's on the best team in the league, and that's the only reason why his odds are that high. But shockingly, who's not that high? I don't have him written down, but I did saw it was Mr. Patrick Mahomes. But he's been dog shit this year, if we're being honest. For his standards. For his standards. He has not been great.
This is a bad year for them, and they're still 12-1. So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, as much
that
as
Chiefs
you can say,
devil magic, bro.
You can say, the refs are definitely, they play a part.
It's not even the refs. It's the devil magic.
But
they do something.
They
do something pregame.
Like Patrick Mahomes is still, they don't even have.
Who's their only
doing
loss?
this with their only
it's the Bills.
It's
the Bills. That's right. That's the Bills.
I mean, they're doing this with almost having, Rashee Rice was out earlier in the year. I mean, Worthy
literally Mahomes took him out himself.
Yeah, Worthy. Worthy's been kind of all right. Pacheco was out for most of the year. I mean,
Travis Kelce's having the worst career. Is having his worst year in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing that. I mean, D-Hop was a solid pickup. He's not as good as he used to be. But, I mean, they've been doing this with pretty much.
Can you imagine prime D-Hop Patrick Mahomes?
Jeez, man. Don't even want to talk about it.
The league, the NFL fans would not want that. I'm just going to keep it real. If you give Patrick Mahomes you saw it, a half decent wide receiver in D-Hop, he kind of looked better. He's looked so much better than the beginning of the year.
Yeah. But
all right, so I mean, we kind of gave our MVP predictions last time. They have just fallen. I mean, I guess AJ's still on Lamar.
That's been my fantasy king right there. So
okay,
he's been doing
so
everything
a little
he can for me.
just a tad fantasy bias, just a little bit.
But I still think I think that what he brings to the game. I mean, when you think
I
of
think
MVP,
I agree with you though. In the sense that, like you said, he's not playing the greatest teams coming up.
Yeah.
So if the record gets that much better and they end up being like an 11-6 or a 12-5 team, and he still puts up the same stats, we could really be looking at a close 3-man race.
I was going to say it is a 3-man race
at the end of the thing.
If he throws the ball, well in these games and they win them.
Well, I mean, I think
because it doesn't matter if they win them at this point. There's no discussion on it. It really does, which we've said it sucks, it's stupid, but
yeah.
All right, so Cameron, last time we said Lamar was going to win. Do you still think that?
think he has a chance, and like I just said, I mean, he's really gotta. They gotta win. They have to win these games, and he's got to throw the ball. I don't think he has the highest chances of winning. I think.
Wait, so who do you think's gonna win now?
I'm still heavy on the Saquon train at this point. I still think he.
Interesting.
I know that it's probably what you're gonna
lights
go
me
with.
up.
I know. I know.
Puts a smile on my face.
I know, but I think he has a better game this week. I was backing that earlier.
If Saquon has another 200 rush yard game, which is definitely possible, and he does end up breaking the rushing record, I think he'll win. I don't know if he's on pace to break the rushing record, so he's still is in contention to do that. But if he doesn't do it, I think Josh Allen's gonna win.
Oh, so you're off of Saquon right now?
I don't get me wrong. I just, like I said, he has to break the rushing record to win. He has to break the rushing record to win it. I don't know. I would be the most ecstatic person in the world if Saquon Barkley wins MVP first year off the bum-ass Giants. But
I think he can do it. Simply, I think he can do it. I think
we're all three different guys, right? And we're three different people at the moment. Because MVP, dude,
this could very well change after this weekend. Like literally after this.
It literally changes every single weekend. It's kind of ridiculous how. But
this is a big weekend for it because there's two of the front runners are playing great games. Like, so
two great both front runners playing two great defenses this week. Yeah. So, all right, on to hot takes. Hot takes. We're gonna do. I don't know, Cameron. I know Cameron wasn't as prepared for this. I know AJ has a couple written down. I have two written down. I have one for this week, and I have one overall. And then I think AJ, you have. Do you have one for this week, or do you just have like two like overall ones?
I have two overall this year takes.
Okay.
So I mean, going off first, no bias.
So we'll just do it. We'll just do this like if like me and Cameron like.
We'll just talk about it.
We'll talk about it. We'll like if we see the vision, or if we're just like.
No, so no bias, but I got the Chargers. I got us making a little deep of a run this year, in the playoffs specifically. I think the one team we gotta avoid is the Bills, but I mean the Chiefs, man, we have been taking them to one possession games since I can even like remember. I mean, for some reason they beat us the last several years with just the craziest game ending scores, but. I think besides that, the Steelers, I mean, we only took them, I mean, they injured Herbert, they injured our Joe All, Rashawn Slater. I mean, they really took out half of our team in one game. I mean, the Ravens, I think if Quentin Johnson caught a couple more catches, I mean, we stayed in that game pretty tight.
Quentin Johnson.
So I think that, I think if we manage, because right now we're 6th seed, I think we're lined up to play the Steelers. I think if we avoid the Bills until at least, second or third round, like AFC Championship maybe. I think we could, we'll probably lose the Bills, but I think we can make a deeper run than people think.
So you're saying you guys can make the AFC Championship?
Yeah, like I got us making the AFC Championship this year.
See, personally. I see the path, man.
I agree.
Especially, it depends what side you guys end up on the bracket. That's the thing. Well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter.
It just depends on how the games line up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, but then I'm so used to talking about college football now because that's like set up like there's sides of the bracket.
Yeah.
But for the NFL, it's whoever the lower seed wins goes to play the best team.
Chiefs could get a bye week. I mean, they're a couple games ahead of the Bills still, and they have an easier schedule to finish off with. So, I mean, if we
honestly, they'll probably end up getting the one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll end up on the top end of the schedule or bracket with the Chiefs. So I think that I think there's a way we beat the Steelers and the Chiefs.
So where are you guys right now standings?
We're 6th, tied with we're in a 3-way tie with the Ravens and
There's
Broncos.
7 teams per conference, right?
Yeah. It's
7
teams. So
7 teams per conference. So
Broncos,
you
we
guys
have the
would be
win
this-
over
okay.
Broncos, or we have the tiebreaker because we beat them once, so we gotta play them
Well,
again.
if you guys end up being, if you guys are like comfortable at the 6 right now,
I mean, it's
you
a
should
tie.
be fine. Oh, it is a tie.
The Ravens have a game over us because they beat us, and then we have the game over the Broncos.
Well, but
'cause
that
we
means
beat
that they're
them.
at the 5.
Yeah,
But
they're
you
at the
still have
5.
the tie. You still have like the tiebreakers right now over like the Broncos,
Yeah,
who are fighting for that. They're fighting for the final spot.
yeah, they have the 7th seed.
I forget
So-
who they're fighting with.
I mean, there's not much of a fight. I mean, the Dolphins are down there, the Colts are down there, but there's
Oh,
still
the
a couple
Tex. Oh, wait,
games
no, the
ahead.
Texans will win the division. Never
Yeah,
mind.
Texans got the division pretty much. I don't think the Colts are gonna get in there, but
All right.
I mean,
Yeah. So Cameron, I don't. I'm sure you see the path, especially with how good the Charger defense has been this year. Defense
No,
wins championships.
100%.
Man.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's totally, absolutely far-fetched of him to say that. I mean, it
Do I think
could
it's gonna happen?
It could
Probably not.
happen.
But I can see I can see where you're. I can
if
see
the
it.
cards
I can
line,
see
Fair
I
it.
think
point.
that the AFC is such a toss-up this year that it could be like there's not one
It's
team
not
that's
as
really that
powerhouse
dominant.
as it's not as powerhouse as the NFC this year. I
no,
don't think.
no,
And it's
no,
like
no.
as
NFC
much as
is
the
so good
Chiefs,
this
you know, they're
year.
12-1, but they're just as beatable as every other team right now. So I think that it could be, you know, if we play the right schedule, I think that it could work out that we get into an AFC Championship. But
All right. I'll throw out my one for the week, and this could really affect the MVP ladder. Even though I literally just said Josh Allen is probably gonna win, but one thing that I have a hot take for this week. I think that Josh Allen will throw 3 picks this week against the Lions.
3?
3. I think he'll throw 3 picks this week against the Lions.
I mean, they got
That's a
Branch
lot.
back. The Lions have Branch back there. He's been another one of the greatest.
And
great
also, like I
safeties
said,
this year.
the at least probably tied or second is Kirby Joseph for lead leader in interceptions.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I
I don't know if you guys see it, but I can see it. This could be a
maybe
very
not 3, maybe 2. 2 is
I
a
could
little
say
bit.
two and a fumble.
Two is a little
Ooh,
more
a
believable.
fumble.
Yeah,
It's
2 and a
interesting.
fumble.
With
is a little-
Josh Allen, how much he runs, I think there's definitely.
he hasn't fumbled that much. He's really cleaned up the turnovers, so maybe this will
Yeah.
end up biting me in the ass. But I think it unravels.
I
for
can
the Bills
see
this week.
2 being a possibility. 3,
Hot take for a reason, man. Hot
It is
take
a hot
for
take
reason.
for a reason. Yeah, no, it is
Yeah.
100%.
Hot take for a reason.
I mean, I think it's definitely possible considering, you know, I think that the Bills, they've been skirting by with the receivers that they have. I think it'll come to a head eventually where they, like you said, they play a good defense like the Lions. I think it comes down to, you know, they could easily get, he could turn the ball over a couple times like you said. I think that is possible. But
Yep. So that's my one for the week. Do you have one, Cameron?
I don't know,
Like,
man.
do you have one off the
when
top
you
of the
were-
dome?
I'm trying to think of when we're doing this because you told me that we were doing hot takes, and I kind of just thought you were gonna write some down and we were gonna chat about them. I didn't really necessarily, get the consensus on the fact that you wanted us to write down a couple and we could chat about them. I thought
Yeah,
you
because
just
this
had a
one,
bunch
the
stored.
only reason why I didn't have a bunch written down is because this one's a little bit tougher to do than when we did the agree or disagree thing. Because the agree or disagree was it's like a 50-50.
I mean, if you want me to go with one off the top of the dome, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, and I want to stay away from talking about my team, but I also want to bring up. I think and this is a hot
Don't
take.
worry, I got one about
No,
my
I know,
team. You
I
can
know.
bring up the Bucks.
I think. I mean, yeah, AJ brought up the Chargers. You're gonna bring up the Eagles. Fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think a healthy Bucks team could win the NFC. A fully healthy Bucks team could have won the NFC.
That's
If they were healthy-
I don't
that's
see
a
it.
burning team.
I don't
If
see
they
it.
were
I
healthy
don't
this
see
year.
it. I'm not gonna lie, Cameron. I don't see it.
If they were healthy
see
this
it.
year. At this point, no.
Your
But
defense-
if they were healthy this year.
I don't know how injury riddled your defense is, but I don't think your defense is good enough to do that.
I mean, we already saw what happened last year with the Bucks and Lions, so it's like,
I know, but
I
at the
don't
same time, you look at with the one
beat
week
them this
that
year
we
fully healthy.
the weeks
So
that we
here's-
were healthy, we took down the Eagles and the Lions, two of
The
the
Eagles
powerhouses.
was-
in
I
the
think
NFC.
AJ
Eagles
Brown
were
was out.
so
I'm pretty
injury
sure AJ
riddled
Brown
that
was out
week.
that game.
That's. I mean, at the end of the
Cameron,
day,
we're not going to get into this. That Eagles team was so injury riddled, it's not even funny.
I know, but we
It was
even
bad.
the Lions, we were healthy. And
That was
I'll agree with you on that.
That was a fluke. I think the Lions were they were 1 for 7 in the red zone. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
And Bucks defense stepped up. I'm still gonna stand on the fact, not at this point in the season. I think that at the beginning of the season,
you said fully healthy. You said fully healthy.
Yeah, like throughout the rest of the season, going forward, it's not gonna happen. But if we were healthy year round, not like 100% healthy, but not as injury riddled as we have been, I think there was a good chance we could have won
Chris
the NFC.
Godwin was on pace for a great year. I mean, he was on my
still,
fantasy
I looked
team
this
too,
up.
and he was amazing.
He's dead ass still second on their team in receiving yards.
Yeah, they don't.
He's only played 7 games. He's only played 7 games.
Like 6 weeks now? Like it's been crazy.
Who the hell has Baker been throwing the ball to?
Sterling Shepard, Jalen McMillan, Kate Otten.
Nobody.
That's about it. That's about it.
Yeah.
Rashad White.
I guess.
That's about
crazy.
Bucky's been running a lot. Rashad White's been running a lot. The passes have been.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I don't agree with you. I'm just gonna say that I don't see that.
It might be a little bit of bias at the same time, but at the same, I really think we could tone it down and say, I think they could have made the NFC Championship. I think there's a little bit more.
I mean,
it would depend on who they
NFC
play.
North is an unbelievable gauntlet this year.
It just depends who they play.
It is. Yeah.
I honestly would depend who they play.
Same as
Yeah,
the
Chargers.
Like there's
You
a way
can't-
that
I see a better
bet
path for the Chargers though.
You can't bet on ifs, ands, and buts though. Like we're not healthy this year.
That's
You
true.
can't look back and say.
I think even if you guys were fully healthy, I would still think AJ's take is better. Saying because of just how good the Chargers defense has been this year.
The defense is
defenses hold up better in the playoffs than offenses. If you have a great defense in the playoffs, it gets you further than having a stud level offense. I feel like
because if you can stop an offense from scoring points, and you don't
have to score that much. Yeah,
you don't have to score that much. Yeah. So no,
that's what the Chargers do best is they don't give up many points.
I understand.
We do the bend but don't break.
I just wanted to pull something off the dome. I felt a little left out. I guess had the hot takes, but.
All right, we'll circle back to AJ, and I'm pretty sure he didn't tell us what the hot take was, but he said it was pretty fiery.
Is this the spicy one?
Like right now, my second hot take is, he's a young guy. I think he's coming into his own this year, and I got Jackson Smith-Njigba. I'm having him as a top 5 receiver this year. I think that, a lot of people have been taking the back seat. Obviously, Chase is doing great. Jefferson's doing great. CeeDee Lamb is up there too. But I think that right now, that 4th and 5th spot is really for anybody. And I think that Jackson Smith-Njigba is, especially with the injuries the Seahawks have been having with DK and, Lockett's been kind of in and out. Walker's been in and out. I think he's shown up. I think he's 6th in receiving yards. He's been showing up this year. And I got... as a young guy, I think he's the next young talent to take over.
That is pretty spicy.
You're spicy.
Saying this year.
Yeah, this season right now.
Well, hold on, Eric. No. I'm going to touch on the one thing that I think makes this possible, and the injuries across the board with star wide receivers has been all over the place.
I guess you're right.
You look at regular guys like DK Metcalf and Mike Evans
Metcalf's been. I don't even think he's
always
in
at the
20.
top of receiving yards. Like Mike
Tyreek
Evans
Hill
has had how many 1,000-yard
really
receiving years? Like he's been up there in some of the best wide receivers.
Like 8 straight. Something like that.
He's always
it's every year he's been in the league. It's every year he's been wherever. I think it's every year he's been in the league. Something like that.
Up there now. I don't even know, man. I don't even remember.
It's probably like 11 or 12.
I was gonna say 10, 11.
Something.
This may be the 12th. I don't even know, but
I don't know if he's gonna hit it.
I don't think he's gonna hit it.
I don't think he's gonna hit it. But that's not his fault. He got hurt.
He got hurt.
I think it's not his fault.
He would have if he wasn't hurt, but besides the point.
Back to.
Okay,
so let's.
I think it's possible.
So this is the best. This is the best way to do this. Is let's name. Me and Cameron will try to name 5 receivers better than him. We'll go. Obviously Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb's still better than him. I know I'm biased, but I'm still taking AJ Brown over him.
Okay, that's
really. See, the thing is, you can come down to talent, but in terms of production, numbers don't lie.
Exactly.
So it's like Tyreek Hill.
AJ Brown though is fighting for targets.
Yeah.
And Jackson Smith isn't really fighting for targets.
But it comes down to the numbers, though.
I mean, he's producing, and that's the thing. When you're fighting for targets, that means you're also
their numbers. Their numbers.
I think if AJ Brown was getting the targets,
look at the yardage, dude. I'm telling you, look at the yardage. It's not that much different. And AJ Brown's been hurt like 3 or 4 games.
That's what I'm saying. Is if AJ
Brown's still better.
If he was getting the targets, yes, it would be no debate that he's in that.
Dude, he has less than 100 yards. He's less than 100 yards different than Jackson Smith and Jigba, and by a lot of catches, he has a lot less catches too, and he's almost close to that yardage. I'm still taking AJ Brown. I mean, AJ Brown is still a better.
He's not getting the targets. He's not getting the yards. It's at the end of the day.
He literally is getting the yards. His yardage is literally so close.
I know it's
so close. And then you have to go down to talent at that point if it's close. You have to go down to talent at that point if it's
biased,
close.
though. Because you could.
So you're telling me that Jackson Smith and Jigba has more talent than AJ Brown?
I mean, I'm saying Jackson Smith and Jigba has more production than AJ Brown. And you say he's splitting targets. I mean, Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf could easily be splitting the same targets that Geno Smith's throwing out.
But here's the thing. The Seahawks don't have a good run game. The Eagles do. That's why, and like we fucking mentioned earlier, the Eagles don't throw the ball that much. Whatever. I'm still taking AJ Brown over him.
Okay.
I'm still taking AJ Brown over him.
We'll
I gotta really lock in on this though, because I'm trying to.
You gotta start thinking about the normals, because it's like he mentioned, like Tyreek Hill is not up there.
I'm not
putting
not this
He's not
year.
up there this year.
Not
like
this year.
The guys who are normally like breakout wide receivers, at least over the last few years, a lot of them just aren't up there, whether it's injuries or just underperformance.
Yeah, fucking Diggs is hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah, Diggs has been
Diggs is hurt.
I mean, I think what's his name, DJ Moore on the Bears. He had like 1,400 yards last year, and he just hasn't even been anywhere.
We talked about this for a while the past couple of days, dude. Actually, that could be another hot take. That you don't think Caleb Williams is going to be that good?
No, I personally think
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in a minute, though. But honestly, I might have to just agree with you on the fact that I literally can't think of wide receivers.
Like Amon-Ra has been, he was pretty good last year. He's been another one that's.
Hold on, I have him written down.
I think that Nico Collins was on pace, but I think with the
I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm still taking Amon-Ra. I gotta think about it. You gotta think about it. Their offense is so balanced that if they were a more heavy style passing, like the Seahawks, he would have so much. Their numbers are not that much different either. And again, you got to go down to talent at that point. So that's 4.
I mean,
then at 5, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean,
but those 4 that I mentioned are definitely better than Smith and Jigba.
I think when it comes down to it, the top 3, undisputed is Chase, Jefferson, Lamb. But I think that.
Jettas, yeah.
Okay.
How the hell did I forget about Jettas? Yeah, Smith and Jigba's not a top 5 receiver.
I got him
this year.
I got him 5.
No,
personally.
No. It goes, this year will be Chase, Jefferson, Lamb, AJ Brown. Wait, who else the fuck? Oh, and then Amon-Ra. Those are my top 5 that I can think of right now. I don't know if I can name more.
It's really close. It's really close.
I'm blanking so badly.
Between the underperformances from like normal stars or the injuries from the normal wide receiver stars, it's close.
I'm not gonna say close. Again, I can see it. I don't agree with it though.
I mean, like I said, I think
I can see what you're thinking of.
It is close, but
when it comes down to it, I'm still taking those 5 at least those 5 that I mentioned.
I think he's been, for being. I think this is his 2nd season, so it's like I think for coming in for your 2nd year and you're already almost top 5 in receiving yards. I mean, he's on a team where, like I said, that he's seizing the opportunity, to put his name out there this year. I mean, especially like I said, DK Metcalf has been underperforming per usual. I mean, he's been all over the place. Honestly,
though, I have him written down. It's really not as underperforming.
I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not for what he should be.
I will say this: I got these off the Real app, and the Real app combines rushing yards and receiving yards together. So I don't know how, exactly to the T it is, but
yeah,
it says that DK's still over 800 yards and 54 catches.
Like, DK's not terrible, but I think that Jason's, trying to solidify himself as that wide receiver 1, especially with Lockett gone, or not gone, but basically a ghost.
Yeah.
I think Jason.
I'm not. Again, we'll. I mean, there's not much else we can really discuss about this, but again, I see it. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It could happen. It may not.
Oh, next year? Oh, dude. I mean, if he has, especially like you said with Lockett, it'll end up if Lockett ends up like retiring this year. Next year, it's literally just gonna be him and DK. So.
I mean, I don't know what DK's contract is looking like, so I don't know if he's.
Oh, so even in that, then he could really just end up becoming number one receiver.
But, I mean,
all right, this one, I'm not. It is biased. It is definitely biased, but I don't think it's that outlandish in my opinion. I think as of right now that Quinyon Mitchell is a top 5 corner in the league, and the only reason why I bring this up is because the last time we filmed an episode, me and Cameron were talking about this when we said that Pat Surtain is the best cornerback. We said we were talking about there's not that many great corners anymore. So I don't think it's far-fetched to say that Quinyon Mitchell is a top 5 corner as a rookie.
I mean, see, the thing is, I think that when it comes to cornerbacks, it's so hard to figure out who's.
But like the normal guys that you would think of, like Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey's not good anymore. Like, okay, maybe he's good, but he's nowhere near where he was. Nowhere near. I think the only guy that is indisputably better than Quinyon Mitchell is Pat Surtain.
I think it comes down to, like, you can't really, because see, the thing is with cornerbacks and stuff like that, I mean, a great cornerback won't have interceptions, you won't have,
that is true. He doesn't have an interception this year, but he's the only corner in the league to not give up a touchdown.
Yeah. I think that it comes down to, I mean,
and Quinyon Mitchell has locked up some unbelievable wide receivers this year.
Yeah.
Just gonna emphasize that.
I mean, because when I think of
you can
top
disagree
5,
with it.
I got.
Okay, we'll do like we just did. You try to name. It's gonna be tough because, like I said, the corners this year are just they're not as.
Well, I think there's two. My top 2. At least I'll give a top 5, but I think the 1 and 2 undisputed is Surtain and Alexander. I mean, Jair Alexander is another one that's. I think he's another one.
I don't fully. I won't disagree. I won't argue with you on that because at least Alexander is he's proven.
You're saying
he's
a
fully
top.
proven.
Are you saying he's a top 2?
No, I said top 5.
Okay,
I said top 5 for Quinyon Mitchell. I said top 5.
I think
I said top 5.
I mean, that's I see it.
Like I give it like a
I wasn't saying I wasn't. I only said that it's like. The only one that you couldn't argue that he's better than is Pat Surtain.
Yeah.
That you couldn't argue. But I think top 5.
Alexander's up there. I think another one that I like is Denzel Ward. I think he's also pretty good on the Browns. I mean, the Browns obviously. I mean,
I don't think he's better. No,
I don't think he's better, but he's on that top 5. I think
he's on the top
5. And then. Quinyon Mitchell, I could put him in there. I could see him at 5. I think he's got time though. He's only a first year player. I think that you got to give him more because when you think about it, you got Slay on the other end of the field. You got Gardner Johnson up there.
But here's the thing.
It comes down to the Eagles' pass rush is also pretty good. So it's like,
dude, I'm telling you this. He locks up their number 1 wide receiver week in and week out. Every team they play. I'm not kidding. And Darius Slay, believe it or not, is right now probably out of Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Darius Slay. Actually, this might even be a hotter take. I think Darius Slay's the worst of the 3. Darius Slay has not played that great this year. I swear to God. I mean, you guys don't watch Eagles games obviously as much as I do.
Not very much.
Dude, Darius Slay gets picked on compared to the rest.
Like they give, you can't discredit Slay like that though.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying, of those 3, he has not played the best this year.
And I think when it comes down to it, I think it's easier to be a great cornerback when you have, like I said, when you have that Eagles pass rush. I mean, it's like, it's hard for teams to pass the ball.
Even when the Eagles pass rush was dog shit this year, in the first 4 games, when Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Sorry to pick on Georgia players, but that's all on the
literal,
defensive line. That's literally the whole.
Yeah.
But between Jordan Davis, Jordan Davis is not really a pass rush guy, but between Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and fucking Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat, those 5 guys on the defensive line were terrible at the beginning of the year. They were not what they were. They are not what they are now. And Quinyon Mitchell was still clamping up guys. Yeah. Even in the game where they got absolutely hosed, absolutely destroyed by the Bucks, he still locked up Mike Evans to like 1 catch when they were playing each other. When they were lined up on each other.
I'm not going to disagree with you on the top 5.
Mitchell had a good teacher. Slays has been one of the top guys.
Actually, I think Vic Fangio is the reason why he's that good. But Vic Fangio has been amazing this year after a horrendous start.
I think it's
9-game winning streak, best defense in the league on that 9-game winning streak. I'm just saying.
I think it's certainly possible. I think you got to give him a little time, though. I think
he could have a better year next year.
Yeah. I think it's too early to tell. Kind of thing.
Here's the thing, though. The only thing he could do better is interceptions. But the only reason why he doesn't have interceptions is because nobody throws the ball his way because everyone's fucking locked up.
Yeah.
You also got to think, the Eagles, who have they, what is the best receivers they've played? I know they played,
I honestly have to look it up to remember.
Puka had a good game when they played against
No, he didn't. No, he did not. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua did fucking awful. Compared to what they normally do, they did not play well. If you remember, they only scored 20 points. The team that just scored 44 on the fucking Bills scored 20 points against against the Eagles.
But Puka that game had over 100 yards, so...
No, he didn't.
I promise you.
I'll look it up. I literally looked this shit up right now.
He's like, I'm looking at it right. He's like, I'm looking at it right now.
No, I promise you, bro.
If he had over 100 yards, it was not against. Okay, yeah, he had over 100 yards, but when he was lined up against Quinyon Mitchell, he didn't get catches.
That could be true. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you. And the only reason why I will say this, the only reason why I know this is because I follow the Eagles accounts. And they always post the stats. He has not given up. He's been locking down top tier. And remember, you got to remember also that Puka Nacua, actually, backtrack to what I said earlier. Puka Nacua got most of those fucking catches on bitch-ass Darius Slay, just so we're clear here. From what I remember, that's who we got most of the catches on. But also, you got to remember, Puka and Cooper Kupp, they're in the Sean McVay system, so they line up in the slot a lot, and Quinyon Mitchell doesn't play the slot.
Yeah.
Or the nickel, whatever the hell. I don't know defensive language that much. But you know what I mean. But if Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are on the inside, it'll most likely be Avonte Maddox or Cooper DeJean that line up against them.
Well, hasn't Maddox been out? I feel like I haven't seen Maddox in a minute.
Oh, actually, no, he got out.
Maybe he is.
He was out, and then Cooper DeJean took over, has been playing lights out, and then since Maddox has come back, he's been downgraded pretty much to special teams.
Yeah. But, I said, I think he's definitely, I think it's not the hottest take, but I think you got to give it time.
Let it simmer. Let it simmer a little bit.
Yeah, you got to give it time.
I don't disagree with it.
I think that once Slay leaves, that'll be that'll be his.
He's gonna have to step up. He's gonna have to step up big time, and that's when he's gonna have to
This is how I can tell you guys haven't watched Eagles games this year is because Darius Slay has not been Darius Slay. Now, don't get me wrong. He has been on and off with injuries, and that could play a factor. But I'm telling you, Darius Slay has not played like the Darius Slay you guys know.
I'm not gonna lie to you. No, I have not watched very much of the Eagles games.
I'm telling you. There was also parts at the beginning of the year where Darius Slay was getting completely shit on by the fan base because he was just not giving a fuck. I'm just telling you, from what I know.
Like I said, when it comes to that Eagles defense, they're great. So it's like it's easy to play good when you're in a great surrounded by.
Don't get me wrong.
Great players.
I don't think it's the other players around him that have necessarily made him better. I think it's his defensive scheme that has made him amazing. Being Vic Fangio, but there's not safeties over top of him that much, so he's always in one-on-one coverage.
Yeah.
Because their safeties play lower because at least from what I've seen, is Reed Blankenship plays up.
That could be true. But,
I know it's kind of hard to explain it.
I mean, I'll see. I mean, we'll see in this.
Pay attention
You'll
to
definitely
it now.
It's this
We'll
Pittsburgh
see.
game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So that's my 2 and AJ's 2. Do you have another one?
No, that's it.
I mean, I could come up with another one.
You
you
know
said,
what?
that
Let's
Caleb
talk
Williams.
about that one because me and AJ were arguing about this for. I'm not gonna lie, it was too long. It was way too long. We probably were talking about this shit for 30 to 45 minutes over text, not even on like a call or anything.
Yeah. I
said
think Caleb Williams is overrated, personally.
I'm not gonna fully disagree with you, but I don't think Caleb. You kept bringing up, oh, he has the weapons, this and that. But if you don't have a good offensive coordinators, those weapons don't do fucking shit.
Like I said,
shit.
I think that it comes down
DJ
to
Moore is always on screen passes, so he's not going off across the middle like he normally does. Roma Dunze does not run deep routes like he's supposed to, or at least what he's normally doing. And then, I mean, I don't really know how to describe Keenan Allen this year. I mean, I don't really know how to analyze him. I don't really know what he's been doing.
Simply put, he's washed. But as a guy that's had literally the greatest, probably the best Chargers wide receiver to ever play.
I forgot about that. He led fantasy in wide receiver points last year.
Yeah, I mean he's the best Chargers wide receiver ever. I'll give him that. But this year, I mean he's just absolutely washed. He's been fighting injuries.
You called him a traitor. You called him a traitor.
Yeah, he was a traitor. You notice how he has 1,000 yards almost every single year with the Chargers. He has, played the greatest, and then it's just like as soon as he leaves the team, it just instantly went downhill. And I think that, like I said, Caleb Williams, it could definitely be his offensive coordinator. I mean, they switched offensive
now he doesn't
coordinators.
have one, and he doesn't have a head coach either. And not to mention that head coach was a defensive-minded head coach on top of it.
And that's the thing.
Eberflus was out the door. Eberflus was out the door no matter what was going to happen this year, I think. Unless they magically got like a winning record. But I think people ended up overrating the Bears too much.
Yeah, and then they, the interim head coach came in, the offensive coordinator, I don't know who stepped up for that, but
it was their offensive coordinator.
Got absolutely dominated by the 49ers.
Here's the thing. I think their offensive coordinator right now is the head coach. But it's not the offensive coordinator that was there at the beginning of the year.
Well, they had Shane something.
I don't know.
Sure it was
I literally was gonna say Shane Steichen, but
yeah, it used to be the Seahawks head coach. I'm pretty sure, or not head coach.
No, Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen is the head coach of the Colts. I'm pretty sure. He was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. I don't know who. Maybe I have names completely wrong.
Was it? I swear.
I'm so my brain is not remembering shit right now. But besides the point, you see the difference though. That offensive coordinator who was at the Seahawks last year, Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf had not great years. Now, obviously, Smith and Jigba was a rookie, but look what he's doing now with a different head coach. Or not to mention, not just a different head coach, a defensive-minded head coach, being Mike McDonald, and then also now you have the different offensive coordinator. So I'm telling you that I'm not going to fully disagree with, yes, Caleb Williams probably technically is overrated because people thought he was going to be like what Jaden Daniels is this year.
Yeah.
And
Jaden Daniels is doing that with a bunch of veterans.
He does have but he also has Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator, a guy that is an amazing offensive mind. Yes, he wasn't the greatest head coach, but his offensive mind is unbelievable. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, and I could look really stupid. I'm almost positive it's either him or Sean Payton that is known as like the QB Whisperer or something. I have no idea if that's I don't know if that's a real nickname or if I just made it up.
I've never heard that in my entire life. maybe I'm out of the loop, but like.
But also what we talked about too with you were talking about Bo Nix being so good, but again, he has a good offensive coordinator and he has great head coach.
Literally no weapons.
But he has a good scheme.
But a
good scheme can elevate. A good scheme can elevate bad weapons more. Let me try more than like I'm trying to. I'm trying to like think of the like
The
sentence to
verbiage?
form. Yeah. Like a good scheme can elevate bad receivers, but not as much as a bad scheme can downgrade good receivers.
I mean, but see, the thing is with the Bears offense is it's not even a downgrade. I think against the 49ers, they had 4 total yards in the first half. That's not even just a bad scheme. That I don't think there's many teams that have single digit total yards in a game. I mean, in a half. I mean, that is just. I think
It's
it
a
just
large-
comes down.
Remember
Large
the
mix.
Commanders last or 2 years ago did it against the Eagles. It was like 299 yards to 1 at one point.
Yeah,
That was when Carson Wentz was the quarterback of the Commanders.
Like,
That was the last
don't
time I
even
remember
think-
it. I'm not
think it's
disagreeing.
I think it's Caleb's decision making. I think that he takes.
But you also
sacks
talked
when he
about the
doesn't
offensive
need to.
line.
Yeah, their offensive line is terrible
It's dog shit. And how is that his fault?
because they didn't draft for it. They drafted Roma Dunze instead of an offensive lineman. That's
Exactly.
what
So
needed.
how is that Caleb's fault?
Well, see, the thing is with Caleb is that the thing is they painted Caleb to be the savior of the Bears, even though Justin Fields was. I'd say Justin Fields was on par
Okay,
with
so what-
Caleb. And I think that
So-
they painted Caleb Williams to be the savior of the Bears, and I think that he's simply overrated.
Can't be a savior with a bad scheme and a bad offensive line.
They
I mean-
should
Again,
have painted him in
again.
that way then. 'Cause they did.
I mean, they were.
Well, that's just the
they were
Bears. That's
hyping
just the
Caleb
Bears fan
Williams.
base.
And
Yeah,
then
no,
they
that's
picked
what
up,
I'm
they
saying.
picked
It's
up
like
Keenan
they thought
Allen
it
and
was
Again,
gonna be the year.
like I said, but like I think I think while I agree with you that he's technically overrated because he's not as good as he was supposed to be this year, but you think
It's
he's
not
not.
100%
You don't think
his fault, but I think that he definitely could play a lot
based
better.
off what we were talking about beforehand, you said it was more his fault. Than,
I think that there's definitely
re-
things that
stuff
he
around
needs to
him.
clean up in terms of decision making. And I think he takes so many sacks that he really doesn't need to, trying to extend plays and run all over the place. And
I think,
I
be
think
rookie,
there's-
though.
I mean, yeah, it definitely could be.
He's-
He definitely
maybe
could
he's just
iron it
not-
out. But I think that with the weapons that he has around him, a bad offensive line does make it kind of hard to play. But at the same time, it's like a DJ Moore that goes from 1,400 yards to not even. He might not even have 1,000 this year, actually. But and Keenan Allen, another guy, even though he's been fighting a couple injuries, he's another guy that won't even reach 1,000. I mean, Swift on that Eagles offense last year was playing.
Okay, but I'm
pretty
not
solid.
gonna lie. Any running back can run behind that. I'm obviously not discrediting Saquon, but you see Saquon's putting
No,
up an
Eagles
MVP
definitely
season.
have had the best offense.
So,
They've
like,
had a top 5 offensive line. Like,
Swift
the last
also
few
hasn't been
years.
that bad this year.
No, Swift has been doing pretty good. And then it's like, Cole Kmet, I think last year was like a top 5 tight end. So it's like, I mean,
Again, but
that's hard
again,
to take,
I'll raise
take
you,
guys
but
that
I
were
will raise
top
you
5
again.
last year.
The fucking Seahawks offensive coordinator last year downgraded Jackson Smith and Jigba so badly. Look what he's doing this year.
Yeah.
And look what G.J. Moore went from last year to this year.
But I mean, having Justin Fields there and DJ, I mean, their offensive line was still just as bad. And they were still managing to do something with it.
But here's the thing. That means whatever the offensive coordinator was doing last year was schemed up to avoid that.
And that could be true. It could
That's
be
what it
offensive
was.
coordinator.
I'm just
I
letting
personally
you know.
think it's.
And
I think
they
it's
clean,
Caleb's fault,
and
though.
also they probably ended up blaming it on the wrong people because the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator got fired last year from the Bears instead of firing Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
And then look what happened this year. Eberflus got fired.
I mean, it could.
Just saying.
I think Caleb definitely plays a solid part in that offense failing, though. Personally, but I mean, especially when it comes to rookie of the year, they had Caleb in there. In the first few weeks, they had Caleb up there, and I think he slid down. I don't even know if he's top 3 right now, but I personally just think that in terms of quarterbacks, I mean, Bo Nix. Like I said, he's been pretty good. Jaden Daniels.
I still think Caleb has the highest ceiling.
I mean, Jaden Daniels.
I will just
looking
say
like a
I'm not
Lamar
saying
out
Jaden
there.
Daniels is bad. I'm not
Like,
saying
look,
Jaden
Jaden Daniels
is bad.
has that run game too. I think that Caleb's missing.
I'm not saying Jaden Daniels is bad. I'm saying Caleb Williams has a higher ceiling because of his potential if they figure it out. If they figure out the proper scheme to run with him and they fix that offensive line, I think Caleb Williams will be deadly.
I mean, it could, if they do it in time, if they still
the
have
one
the weapons that they do and they figure it out, I think it could be deadly. But I think if by the time that they do figure it out, I think, Keenan Allen's out the door.
Like I said higher ceiling. Whether or not he hits that, who knows?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
he has a better potential to. He has more potential to be. I think he has the. I think he. Whatever. We're just going on too long at this point. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm letting y'all go, man. Like I tried to input. I tried to input a couple times there, and it was just like boom, firing off. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna let y'all go because you guys have already been arguing about this.
We've already been talking about. Yeah, we've already been talking about it.
Touching on things you guys
I'm not gonna
previously
lie.
talked
I thought
about.
this.
Like,
We were making. I'm not gonna lie. We were making such great pace for this to be a shorter episode. This fucking segment has taken like 35 to 45 minutes or something.
That's true.
And we're now at the longest episode that we have recorded since.
There you go.
Doesn't feel like it, but that happens.
Oh, trust me, it definitely happens.
There's not much competition.
What?
I said there's not much competition. Well, there's 2-3 episodes pushed out. So
that is a good point. That is a good point.
It's okay.
All right, one last thing before we sign off.
Oh my
AJ,
god.
you're new to this, but
oh my god.
If you don't know,
he got his ball.
I'm a Bucket Squad affiliate. I make
topographic ball.
I've
It's actually
seen
kind of
it.
it's kind of fire. I'm
It's
not
a
gonna lie.
it's the I'm sure AJ knows what the Weatherman pattern is on the KDs from
I
back
know
in
what
the day.
it is. Come on now.
Okay,
Don't count
you
me out
also
like
have-
that.
Okay,
He said don't get
you also know you have no basketball knowledge, so I have no idea.
It's fine. It's fair. It's fair. Fair point.
Back to what I was saying. They got
know what the Weathermans
basketballs.
are.
They got shorts.
Yeah.
They got T-shirts. They got hats. They got so much. They got so much stuff. Use code Eric Koleski, 10% off. Yeah. So if you like the basketball, if you like the shorts, make sure you go buy them. Great Christmas present.
It is a good Christmas present. That's what I was about to say. I was literally about to say, bro. I'm kind of hoping I get some Bucket Squad shorts for Christmas. I'm not gonna lie.
Who knows? Maybe you will.
Maybe I will. All right.
All right. This has gone on very long. I honestly, we have to figure out what you guys like more. Whether you like, because I did post. We have posted shorter videos the past two uploads. The last time when I wasn't with Cameron, it was under an hour, and then I guess the one that we just posted was just live reactions. So it was gonna end up being shorter anyways.
Yeah, that was
But let us know what you guys like more in the comments. Also, give me segment ideas because my brain gets cooked every time I try to think about it. So, give us segment ideas for what you guys want to see, games, anything. I don't know how much more there is to add. Also, actually, one more thing. If you like the guests, if you want AJ back, let us know. He's got a very deep bag of ball knowledge when it comes to basketball and football.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to.
And baseball. He does love his Dodgers. He loves his Dodgers.
I don't want to push anything too hard because I'm not. I don't watch very much basketball, and I could do my research. We could go on.
It's not that hard. I mean,
say it's not like it's hard. It's just I think there would be better conversations between two people who know about basketball than one person who doesn't really watch it and one person who does. So. We could do another thing like this if we do, NBA. I could do a little bit of
the Magic
research.
are easy to talk about this year.
The Magic are pretty easy to talk about. They're playing well. I know they're playing well.
They're great.
Without
Franz
Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, without him.
He just got hurt.
He's hurt.
But he was hooping. He was hooping before. He had back-to-back 30-point games or something before that.
Anyways, we could talk about that later.
We'll figure it out. But
about how we want to run those episodes, but
about how we want to.
Go follow the TikTok, the Instagram, please.
Oh yeah, especially the TikTok.
Hard. The TikTok's in a rough state right now. We're trying to figure out how algorithms and stuff.
It is very much the TikToks are in a very rough
keep
state.
It straight. Yeah, it's
last couple haven't been that bad, but man, there was a solid week last week where we were getting horrendous views. So, if you guys want to support us, definitely repost on TikTok, all that shit.
Anything.
Do all engagement, all support. It helps out so much.
Much appreciated.
Very much appreciated. Thank Thank you, AJ, for coming on.
I appreciate it, bro.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hopefully we'll have you back in the future, and then also let us know if you want we should get some other people for some other ideas as well.
Big time.
Maybe we can even get 4 people in total on this.
Oh man.
Ooh, man.
You never know. This could get
We're
crazy.
stretching the arms out here. We're stretching. We're stretching. We're getting comfortable. All right.
But
I think that's about it.
that's all. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.
Later.